What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Akalon here, and it's honest thoughts time. We have some stuff to talk about. 9.2 developer preview has just been announced, and I think we were all extremely excited for this announcement. I mean, considering the fact that we've not really had content in Shadowlands, this was sort of everyone's moment. You know, we knew that this had to be huge. Now, there's good and bad things. This is why I wanted to make this video, because not everything is bad, right? It's not as if the whole world is coming down around us, but not everything is good either, right? Which is usually the case. That's life, you know. Not everything is good, not everything is bad. Things are usually somewhere in the middle. But I wanted to talk about it, and originally I thought about scheduling this video in sort of the good versus the bad, right? And then I thought, no, because there's good and bad in some things, like literally in the same vein. There's good and bad. So I'm going to talk a little bit more openly about all of it. So I want to start off with something that I found a little bit perplexing. Again, not necessarily a bad thing, but also not a great thing. The format that they chose, which again just came across very PR, very sort of marketing material, right? It felt as if I was watching an advertisement for why I should play 9.2, for why I should sub to 9.2. If you contrast that to Yoshi P and his producer live letters, those things take 5 hours, right? For 5 hours, he sits there in a live stream and he speaks to the community. He tells them what's coming next, what are we doing here, why are we doing this? He gives them insight. That's the sort of transparency that I think most of us were asking for. That's sort of what we wanted to see, not an 11-minute video that is pre-planned, pre-blocked, and edited very heavily to ensure that they only give you enough to whet your appetite, but not enough to actually dive into it. So many of the judgments that I'm making today is purely on what can only be described as superficial evidence that we have, right? Because we haven't played the patch yet. We saw stuff and we were told about stuff. As for drilling down on stuff, there's not been much of that, right? There's been very little drill down in terms of that. So that's definitely something that I think Blizzard needs to work on. We need to get producer live letters. We need to get Ian sitting down for 5 hours and talking about the game, right? Actually telling us everything that they're doing and why they're doing it. It'd be great if Blizzard could actually do something akin to that. But anyways, screw it. Let's talk about what was shown. First and foremost, the world it looks good. It's you know, they told us that they wanted to create something completely unique, something we've never seen before. This world needs to be magical, and to be frank, it's not that, right? It just isn't. The guy mentioned that there's water, and this water is different from any water that we've ever seen before. You can walk on it, and it's like, what about the shamans and DKs? Are they a joke to you? Because they can walk on water too. And I realize that's not the point he was trying to make, but it just came across as like, you should drill down into why this water is so very different. Just they can walk on it doesn't really ring a bell, right? It doesn't really hit home. So yeah, I had a problem with that. That was just weird. But, you know, again, they probably didn't want to give away too much. They really just wanted to whet your appetite for what you can expect, which is what Blizzard does, right? They almost everything is a marketing campaign, which is one of the main, shall we say, issues that I've had with World of Warcraft for a long time, is the fact that everything just feels like marketing. But for me, looking at the world, it feels like they tried to be so unique that they ended up being basically same than any other expansion or any other patch. It looks like a new zone, but it also looks like many of the other zones that we've seen before. Yes, it's reskinned, but you didn't really show me anything that blew my mind, right? Which could really just be the case of them trying to overcompensate and therefore going really ham on trying to make this really cool zone, and it sort of going so far that you return to things that we've sort of seen before. there are things that's very exciting in this realm, right? The Death Star, Life Star thing up in the sky, that excites me. The idea of that fucking excites me. Floating stuff, yeah, of course. The ground comes to mind, and I like floating stuff. So I'm not against this. I would want to see the layout of the zone. I would love to see how they played with this zone, because in my opinion, the best zone the Blizzard have ever created in a patch is Nazjatar. I loved the levels of Nazjatar and the way those levels played out. Was it a bit of tedious? Was it a bit tedious to traverse? Sure, but who cares? It was still a cool zone, you know. It was a zone that felt really compact, but also really free and open. So I wonder if Blizzard could one-up themselves with this new Zereth Mortis. The lore and story, obviously, we got a lot of, and I personally lost my mind when I learned about the runic language research. It's something that I've wanted for such a long time. If you're a patron of the channel, you've heard me ramble about this a million times. In behind-the-scenes videos as well as in Lovecraft episodes. I want the runes to have meaning, because it opens the avenues to speculation. When runes have meaning, even if it's not all the runes, if it's some of the runes, that at least gives us an idea of what those runes mean, then we have the ability to actually see other things with runes on it and start going, wait a second, but what if that is what it means, considering we know what these runes mean and these runes are present on that armor or that weapon? So I lost my mind. And then I sort of looked into it a little bit more, and I realized that this is most likely going to be an incredible amount of time gating that goes into the system, because you're going to have to do this research, right? And it all depends on exactly how Blizzard approaches this, because according to them, there's no new renown levels. The runic research is actually taking the place of renown levels. So my question is the story on the progression of the zone now also tied to this runic research? Because in that sense, you just fucked it up. Because not everyone cares about the runic research, right? Not everyone is like me. Not everyone is a geek that will sit there and fucking research every single rune, right? Because I want to know what those runes mean. For some people, they couldn't give two fucks what those runes mean. And why are you forcing them to actually learn those runes? They shouldn't have to, right? And it's also going to be massive, massive time gating. I was upset learning that the Covenants isn't being scrapped entirely. The Soulbinds and the Conduits are being reworked, and basically some of them, I don't know if everything is going to be reworked. They just mentioned that they're reworking Conduits and Soulbinds. That upset me. That was sort of like, the system doesn't work. No one finds it fun. No one is enjoying your system. Why are you doing this, Blizzard? Like, why are you doing this? So yeah, it should go. It should go. The system doesn't work, right? And if something doesn't work, you can't keep pushing for it. The player doesn't want it. It's over. Thank you. Let's move on. Let's try something new. Tier sets. Very good. Very good. Fucking eye time. It should have been at launch. Tier sets should have been at launch. I'm a little bit frustrated though. With Torghast, and so I'm gonna be honest, this information doesn't actually come from the developer preview. It comes from an interview that Ian did with Millennium, I think. It's a French magazine or outlet, where Ian basically said they're removing Soul Ash from Torghast. Good, that's exactly what you had to do. And then he went on to basically describe, or everything he described after that was sort of like, yeah, Torghast is over, right? You can still get your cosmetics there, and of course, that will never go away. But you know, it's time to move on. And I wanted to scream as I was reading that, because it's everything that's wrong with World of Warcraft. If there's ever been evidence of Ian not being fit to run World of Warcraft, it's that. This dude throws away systems faster than you can fucking breathe, dude. It is insane. As soon as the system doesn't work, right? Doesn't matter how much potential the system has, it's fucking scrapped. He just removes it. His ego cannot handle when his systems fails. Like, when a system doesn't work, it just gets scrapped. Screw it, right? Or in the case of Conduits and Soulbind, he sticks to it, right? Just keep revamping it. Torghast was a massive failure. No one liked doing it, and the reason people didn't like doing it is because they were forced to do it, right? Because Torghast shouldn't exist for everyone. It should be an optional thing that some people do, but some people don't, and that's okay in a video game, like an MMO, right? MMOs, you can't design something for everyone, but this is sadly Ian's approach, right? He's so obsessed with efficiency and the design of the efficiency of design, that the idea that you can design something in the game and only a small percentage of the player base will actually play the thing that you designed, it's, to him, sacrilege. It can't happen. When you design something, everyone should play that thing. And it's like, why? Why? Not everyone likes the same things. It's okay if not everyone likes the same fucking systems in your game. Ian does not think so. That really broke my heart, because it proved to me that Ian has not listened. He does not learn, because he does not think that he is the problem. Ian believes that there are things, for example, we saw that in the previous interviews, right? He was blaming the old guard for things that the old guard had fuck all to do with. Like, legit, the old guard did not, the lessons that he says he learned from the old guard, go play the old fucking WoWs and realize, where are these lessons that you've learned? Because they didn't implement those lessons into their games, right? Something like Covenants didn't exist in Classic, in TBC, or in Wrath. So what lessons are you talking about? The lessons that they taught you. I don't think you understand the lessons that they tried to teach you. So it's very clear that Ian is sort of blaming everyone but himself for the issues of World of Warcraft. He needs to step down. It's over. The dude clearly doesn't know how to design an MMO, and I'm losing faith by the day that 10.0 is going to be good, considering the guy still doesn't get it. But anyways, on to, I think, the only thing I can really talk about, and I'll end the video with this, is the lore. And Steve Denuser, again, also proved that he should not be writing for World of Warcraft. The dude should not be writing for anyone, if I'm honest. He should be an author, right? He should write books. I think he's pretty good at that. I like his books. His books are pretty fun to read. I don't think he should ever be in control of narrative for video games. Asmongold actually said it best. I was on last night and I was sort of doing research and reading all the interviews and stuff as it came out. And I saw Asmongold was streaming, so I started watching. And Asmongold made a very valid fucking point. Why is Zuval bad? What makes him bad? You've never explained it, right? We've been told that he's bad, right? The Eternal Ones told us that he's bad, but why? The dude wants to destroy the cycle of life and death. That doesn't seem like a bad thing to me, at least. Yeah, fuck it. Let's not die anymore. Seems like a pretty good idea, right? Especially considering the afterlives don't seem so fucking hot. You've literally designed a villain that, and then you asked us to just accept that he's bad. You've not even done the smallest of things in proving that he is the antagonist of the world, and yet we're supposed to just accept that he really is the antagonist of the world. You can't tell a story that way, and that is why I think Zereth Mortis is going to be another massive failure, because the story is still built on the same wonky, fucked up foundations. The story is still built. The fact that this is the end of the first book of World of Warcraft, in Denuser's own words, is just sad, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting that you thought that this is the note on which you get to end decades of storyline. If you include Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3, you are talking decades of storyline that you just fucked away in this sort of ending. You have a villain that isn't established as a villain. Half the player base doesn't seem to understand why this dude is the villain. You have a world that no one cares about. Ardenweald, who cares? Winter Queen, who cares? No one cares. We don't know these people. Who are they? Most of your players want to fuck back to Azeroth and literally go, well, fuck that place. We'll let them deal with their own shit. So the fact that you're now going to Zereth Mortis just shows that you don't even understand the fundamental reason why people don't like the story. Because you're going even bigger. It's becoming even more convoluted. And the reason it's becoming more convoluted is because we still don't know. We still don't know. None of this makes sense. So, no, I'm not overly excited for the story of 9.2. Because I've not been overly excited for the story that precedes it. And considering this is the end of the story that precedes it, I don't know what to be excited for. What I do know is this is not how the first book of the WoW story should have ended. This is completely and utterly disrespectful to years of development by people like Chris Mason, who poured his heart and soul into this world, and for his vision, his world, to be treated with this much almost apathy, it's disgusting. And Steve Denuser, you should be fucking ashamed. You took an incredible story and you managed to fucking ruin it in what 2 years, 3 years? That's incredible. That takes some pure fucking skill, bro. Anyways, done rant. Sorry, I am sick and tired of Steve Denuser. Yeah, the dude doesn't know how to write a story, and I don't want to bite my tongue anymore because I am the one, and you, the players, are the ones suffering under his ineptitude. So yeah, it is annoying. It's super annoying to watch this guy in action, knowing that I could write a better story in my fucking sleep. If you disturb me on the fucking toilet taking a shit, I could write you a better story in 5 minutes than what this guy does with 3 years. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm done. If you want to follow me live, join me over on Twitch. I'd be happy to have you here. It's a wonderful community. It's degenerate as fuck. I love all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out. To all of the patrons, Twitch subs, and the YouTube channel members, thank you so much for your support. It means the absolute world to me. And for those of you that want some behind-the-scenes footage, some behind-the-scenes videos, Lovecraft episodes, and all the rest of it, you can join us over on Patreon. The links is in the description down below. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for watching. My name is Aklon, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace.